This will be a review of the Noontec Zoro II HD headphones. These headphones were given to me to review on my channel, so I am kind of starting from a blank slate reviewing a Noontec product. This is the first one that I have ever listened to, and so I'm going to give you my thoughts on this. And I'm going to start with the build quality and the design. These are sold as fashion hi-fi headphones. It's even what's on the box. And speaking of the box, this is just a typical box that they come in. Normal looking headphone box with a magnet that holds the cover, the flap. Also, you do get a carrying case with these. So the design of these is actually very nice. I'm impressed with the build quality. It is a plastic, but it's a well-made plastic, and at first look you can't help thinking that these look like the Beats Solo, which I'm actually going to do a little bit of a comparison with the Beats because these are very similar. They come in a few different colors. These are obviously the blue ones, but they've got a really nice pleather inside. It's a really comfortable headphone, and they're very light. These are an on-ear headphone, which means they sit on your ear, as opposed to an over-ear headphone like these Audio-Technica AT-HM50s. So the advantage of an on-ear, I'm not going to go too much into the differences between on-ear and over-ear, but the major one is they're smaller. They're a little bit easier to put in a bag, and they're better to wear around your neck when you're not using them, because you don't have so much headphone around your neck. And they also, I think, look better if you're out and about, especially when you're traveling, if you're going through an airport or whatever. And they're just really nice to carry, like I said, around your neck without being too big and bulky. With an over-ear headphone, you kind of look like you just walked out of a recording studio if you walk around with them around your neck. So I use my over-ears when I'm just kind of around the house. The over-ears typically will have a little bit better isolation, sound isolation, although these are pretty good as far as isolation. These do fold at the hinges, so they're very easy to pack up. And like I said, it's very similar to the Beats Solo, which I'll actually show here in a minute. The construction, like I said, is pretty good. The only thing that I don't know about durability for the headphones at all, because it's only been a few days since I've used them. But you know, the joint here seems a little bit flimsy. It's not too bad, but this kind of plastic snapping into place, I just don't know how long that will remain firm. But I'll probably follow up this review in a few months and let you know kind of how these have held up long term. Back to the design, they have a brushed aluminum, which is really nice. Again, it's a really good looking headphone. It's got the label here, the emblem with the brushed aluminum. The ear pads are very comfortable. It's a very soft pleather. And by pleasure, I mean kind of an imitation leather. That's really comfortable on your ear. The clamping force is decent. It's not too hard. Some on-ear headphones have a really strong clamping force, which can be uncomfortable for extended listening. This is pretty good, and it's not near the force of the Beats Solo. These come with a removable cable, and that is very nice to be able to pull this out, especially if maybe you're doing something around the house and you're out and about and you don't want to take the headphones off your neck, but you want to kind of do something and the cable might be getting in the way. You can just pull out the cable, put it in your pocket with your phone or your iPod or whatever, and then put it back in when you're ready to listen. So I really like the removable cable. Also, the cable is one of the most vulnerable parts of a headphone. So if you were ever to damage it, you can replace it. It's also a flat cable, which I really like. These flat cables are very tangle free, and when you're traveling, that's something really nice. If you pull your headphones out of your bag and the cord's all tangled and it takes you a minute to untangle, it's kind of annoying. So I like the fact that they included a flat cable with these. Also, it has a single button remote with a microphone, which is very handy. Some of the higher end on-ear or over-ear headphones don't have a mic and a remote, so it's really nice that they included this, and it works very well. It's Android or iPhone. It's going to work fine to play and pause and skip your music and answer calls. Now let me talk about sound quality, because that's obviously the most important thing for most people in a set of headphones. These have good sound. And I use my Audio Technica ATH M50s as kind of the gold standard for a really good sounding headphone under $200. The Noontecs have very good clarity and detail, which is one of the highest qualities that I look for in a headphone. The one thing that impressed me most about these is the sound stage, or the space in your music, and by that I'm referring to just how separated the instruments sound. It's not all jumbled together, and it doesn't sound like the music's in your head. I don't use on-ear headphones a lot, so maybe that's a quality of on-ear headphones, but again, I was really impressed with how spaced out the music sounded. These also have very strong and forward mid-range. The vocals are really clear. Sometimes they're a little bit too forward. Overall, I think the headphones, when you first start listening to them, if you compare them to something like the Audio Technicas, are going to sound a little flat. The bass and the treble are not highly accentuated, but let me talk about what I did to remedy that. These Audio Technicas, I do not use an equalizer, a built-in EQ on my phone. Now, let me preface this with saying I am pretty adamant about having good quality sound in a headphone. I have listened to a lot of headphones over the years that I've returned, and just because I'm real particular about how a headphone sounds. If they sound any bit muffled, then it's not one that I will hold on to. These do not sound muddy or unclear. It's very crisp, but they are a little bit flat sounding. However, they do respond very well to an equalizer that most people will have in their phone. And what I did was I kind of set the equalizer in a V-shaped pattern. So this is, if you can see that, the setting that I used on my equalizer. So I accentuated the treble a little bit and the bass frequencies, and even used a little bit of a bass boost. By doing that, it brought these headphones to a level not quite the Audio Technicas, and these are almost twice the price of the Noontecs, but it was very close. And if you're an audiophile and you're looking for a decent little headphone to travel with without spending a whole lot, because investing in a really high-end set of headphones for traveling sometimes isn't the best idea, just because stuff happens when you travel. I think you're going to be pretty pleased with these. Again, they respond well to an equalizer. Most headphones that I use, I do not have to run the EQ, but again, I felt like that really enhanced these and brought them up to a very good sound quality. And while I'm talking about sound quality, let me go ahead and do a little bit of a comparison with the Beats Solo, because as you can see, these are very similar. Even the way, these have a removable cable, just like the Noontecs. And they also have the folding hinges for traveling. So these are a very similar headphone, and just the style and everything, I think it's going to appeal to about the same crowd as far as someone who wants a good-looking headphone to wear out and about, but also has decent sound. Now, I found that the Noontecs actually have a clearer, little bit more detailed sound than the Beats Solo. The Noontecs, I said they sound a little bit flat. One way to describe that is a little bit less warm. But once I ran the EQ, that was fine. With the Beats have very strong bass. If you know anything about Beats, they really market their headphones as a bass headphone, which they are. The bass on the Noontecs is very clear and very controlled. There's not a rumble sound to it. If you're looking for a very bass-heavy headphone, the Noontecs are probably not going to be the ones that you want to look at. That would probably be the Beats. However, I found with the Beats that the bass is too strong and it overwhelms the music and it makes the headphones sound a little bit muffled. The Noontecs do not sound muffled, especially with the mid-range. It's very forward and very clear. But the benefit of the Beats is if you just really like that strong bass. With the Beats, I don't feel like you get an accurate sound reproduction. I feel like the Noontecs are more accurate as far as the way they sound. So I actually prefer the Noontecs. Plus, these retail for about $100. You can maybe find them for around $80, whereas the Beats today are going for about $150 to maybe $170. So not only can you save money with the Noontecs, I think you're going to get a more accurate sound with them. Like I had mentioned before, the clamping force on the Beats is quite a bit stronger than the Noontecs. The Beats do have a little bit better sound isolation. On-ear headphones don't give superb sound isolation unless they have an active noise canceling. But both of them have decent sound isolation. The Beats are a little bit stronger, and I think that's mainly due to the clamping force. The ear pads are pretty much the same consistency as far as being soft and pliable on both of them. The quality of construction is, on the actual body of the headphone, it seems about the same. The Beats may have a little bit higher quality in the build, but it's not a night and day difference by any means. So I feel like the Noontecs are really good value compared to the Beats. So that's going to wrap up my review of the Noontec Zoro II HD headphones. This is a headphone that I will recommend. Again, I think the value is excellent. The sound quality is good. It's going to sound a little bit dry and flat without an EQ. But to the average listener, I think you can pull them out of the box, plug them in, and you're going to be very happy with these. If you're a little bit more particular and you've been listening to a little bit higher end headphone like the Audio-Technicas, then you probably want to do a little bit with your EQ settings. But like I said, it's a very good headphone for traveling. I'm going to have these in my travel bag from now on, especially since they have a microphone. I have even a pair of earbuds that are higher end earbud that does not have a microphone. And when you're listening to music and just got to grab a call, it's very convenient without having to pull your phone out of your pocket. So if you get a pair of these or you're familiar with them, leave me some comments below and let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.